The Seventh Generation Fund has been a Native foundation for 35 years. We look for the optimism in Native communities, optimism that Native traditions and Native cultures are going to survive and going to flourish. And we support projects that are committed to strengthening their traditions and strengthening their culture. We provided financial and technical resources to many Native communities to support their individual community initiatives, and they have been successful. They've organized events, they've organized protests, they've rebuilt their communities, and looking quite optimistic for a better future tomorrow.
Take action to protect the land. There has never been a more critical time when Indigenous people have to have their voices heard, not only in our own communities, but globally. I think that's important because, with global warming, with the destruction of the ecological biodiversity, it's Indigenous people that speak for the animals, it's the Indigenous people that speak for the land. Your projects and your work is critical for that change.
Really, our organization is really one part of the larger whole, of a whole cultural renaissance, spiritual renaissance, I think. We came from that. That's what we were birthed from. That's our organizational DNA. And we're just one little bead. And we're made up of little tiny pieces of really incredible, magnificent things, like bringing back language, like rebuilding canoes for the first time in 100 years, singing songs, community gardens, rebuilding dance houses, finding all those little pieces and bringing them back together again for individual communities, but also on the whole for the Indigenous movement, and linking those all together. I think one of our best roles is linking many different pieces together, bringing them together through our convenings, through our networking, through our different programs. We're just one little piece that's linking, hopefully, a great movement forward. And the last 35 years or so that we've been doing this, I think we've contributed something to the conversation. I think we've advanced good work all over. We see it in our young people, and we also see it when elderly people who've been part of this for such a long time tell us we're doing the right thing. I think that's also an affirmation that we're following in the right footsteps that our founders laid down for us, and also that we're laying down the right pathway for the future generations.
What it means to me to be a good ancestor is to be honest, tell about your experience. We're not perfect as human beings. We do make mistakes and we do learn from that. And we need to teach that to younger generations so they would know.
I've been a part of the Seventh Generation Fund since I was about 2 years old. I would consider these people and the project's affiliates and those that we work with as my extended family, not only because my family works here in the office, but because I've known them for most of my life. I would consider the board members, my uncles and aunties, and my co-workers as my close family themselves. And I've watched several of the organizations, our affiliates and projects grow throughout the years, evolve, and have enjoyed watching the work that they do. I'm really excited to be graduating Humboldt State University this year with a degree in ethnic studies. I plan to attend graduate school or maybe even law school and use my skills and knowledge to come back and help the Seventh Generation Fund.
And time again we've had to rely on the inspiration of our culture, our teachings, and our spirituality. Time and again, and the time is now. The time is now for us to bring the best of all of those to the forefront, to do what we can, to do what must be done, to rectify our relationship with Mother Earth and the natural world.
I'm a runner. I look at my work with Seventh Generation Fund in the same way I look at running. Feet on the ground, moving forward one step after the other, each muscle playing its part to help propel the collective ahead. It's not always easy. The scale of issues we're facing, time spent away from family, ceremonies missed, long hours spent in airports and airplanes. Sometimes you can get tired. Sometimes it can wear you out. But when I hit that point, I just think of all those who we're working for, their love, their sacrifices, and their willingness to take a stand and do something in this life to keep the world alive with the sound, sights, prayers of tradition, working to be a good ancestor. As the old man said about running, it's what's in your heart that will keep you going when your legs will no longer carry you.
Samkutin. So working for Seventh Generation Fund, what I noticed was the connection with the communities. You get to read these reports and you read about these individuals in these communities and you read about the work that they're doing, but a lot of times you never see them. Well, Seventh Generation Fund, you get to meet them, you become family with them, you find yourself emailing them or calling them on the phone, sometimes just to say hi. And that's really neat. Or they ask about how your life is. I got a call from Gilbert Yazzie, and he wanted to know how the baby's doing and what's going on. And anytime I talk to Orrin, how's the baby? What's he been up to? What's his newest milestone? What's he been crossing these days? And that's really neat because you don't always see that in a business. You don't always get the community aspect that gets involved. That for me is what Seventh Generation Fund has provided, has been the community connection with the projects that they work with.
We're uniquely positioned at the Seventh Generation Fund to have a media department, to be able to go out into these communities and work with these projects that we support, to just really gather a glimpse or a snapshot of these amazing projects and efforts that are going on, and to be able to take that back to a large foundation and say, this is what's going on in Native America. These are the tones of commitment and the voices of leadership that we'd like you to support. Whether it's been projects like working with Native youth, doing a summer digital training camp, and then taking those youth to the United Nations and having them document indigenous peoples across the world, in their efforts to bring up the issues of global climate change and human rights. You sort of begin to see this change through this lens. You start seeing these snapshots in action of community members really taking a stand and putting into motion new initiatives in their communities that really make a difference. And we really see that through this lens.
We are very honored and humbled by the vision and the quality of the projects that come to Seventh Generation for support. And we're not about telling people what to do. They know what to do. And we're always very impressed about the quality of leadership that steps forward to deal with the needs and the challenges of the communities.
There were two things that really struck me as unique. One of them is for how present the community is in our office, for our projects being flung all over and doing all kinds of different things. It's amazing how much we feel everything that they're doing. We feel the struggles and the successes, and we have joy when babies are born. And it's in little ways, like valuing the way we communicate with each other and making sure that there's respect in all the things that we're doing with all the people that we work with, funders and grantees and partners in the community, and with each other. It's very impressive. I've never been any place else that impresses me that way.
This year, our elders spoke on our canoe journey that we have young children that do not know what it's like to not be a canoe society. They've only known what it means to be with the Tomo and have a journey to Limu year after year. For that, I tell seventh generation, thank you. Kakinash.
People who are currently struggling and whatever you're doing to maintain your integrity and yourself, fight on. It's important for you to maintain your lands, your language, and your culture, and to maintain your traditional practices and give thanks to the earth, because that's what we do best. We're the people who give thanks to the earth.
Hey,